what is DNS and how to use DNS and where to use DNS server. But installation, configuration of DNS, it's not mandatory, because every day, in the IT industry, people are directly buying public domain names from the GoDaddy or Amazon Web Services or different websites. So I will tell you the complete process about DNS, but in yourself, just understand about DNS only and don't go for the even practicals of DNS. But if you have any idea about DNS, then in AWS environment, the Route 53 is very easy. In AWS environment, Route 53 is very easy. Okay, let me explain what is DNS. Domain name system. DNS server, also known as name server. Domain name system, another name is name server. DNS is a distributed database system that is used to associate host names with their respective IP address. So remember this point. So what I'm saying, in every network environment, DNS playing very critical role. Even DNS offer multiple features, but one of the best feature of the DNS is mapping host name to IP address and IP address to host names. So what exactly mean by it? Associate host names with their respective IP address. So guys, best example, generally everyone can access the websites with IP addresses only. Generally every website running with backend IP addresses only. But people are typing with names instead of IP address, because for accessing websites with numerical IPs, it is very critical, even people to highly impossible to remember each and every website. So that's why they are mapping that particular IP address with respect to host names. Those are the domain names. So another example. So nowadays everyone saving the mobile numbers in your phones with names only. But if you dial the name, but systems internally communicate with number only. Correct? We will not communicate with names, only with number, because number only unique. But how it is possible if I dial with name, communicate with number? So who is mapping that name to number and number to name? That is the role of DNS. It's resolving IP to names and names to IP address. But you want to install and configure DNS server, bind, Berkeley Internet Name Domain is the package. It is a server package. It consists of a set of DNS related programs. It contains a name server called named. So the package, DNS server name is bind. The package name is bind. But the daemon or service name is named. Okay, what exactly DNS architecture? So here already you know that DNS follows a tree structure. Every domain maintains root level domains, but every root level domain contains global top level domains. Global level top domains. For example, under root, you know that the top level domains are .com, .se, .net, .org, .au, .uk, .us, So these are all are the what? Top level domains. So that's why most of the companies to prefer top level domains only. I mean more companies running with .coms only or .net only, .edu. So these are the what top level domains. But under top level domains, there are subdomains like mail.google.com, mail.yahoo.com. So like we have different mail.net.com and www.mail.google.com. So we have different sub-level domains. But every user, the first priority goes to top level domains only. So even in the web searching, the websites also listed with top level domains. That's why companies running the websites with .coms mostly. Okay, and next, every name server zones. I mean, every domain maintain the word server zones. So in a DNS server, all information is stored in a basic data element called resource records. So the domain name is nothing but fully qualified domain name. So www.yahoo.com, www.sysgeeks.com, asokit.com. So everything is a one fully qualified domain name. But here, every domain maintain resource record sets. So I mean, this hierarchy consists of the main trunk, primary branches, secondary branches, and so on. Okay, so you want to like mapping IP to name and name to IP address. So every domain name maintain some record sets. Every domain name maintain record sets. So I mean, these record sets are playing critical roles. IP to name and name to IP address and mail exchange resources and lot of things. So every record set has one purpose. For example, if you have record sets A, then what is the A record set ID? It is a IPv4 address. The meaning is it's mapping the name to IP and IP to name. So simple. When the record set is A, it's mapping name to IPv4 address. So now who is translating? Who is resolving name to IP address means under DNS concept, the record set A takes playing a role name to IP address mapping information. But when the IP address is version 6, then it will take 4 years or the name to IP address mapping information. So this is a repeated interview question, not only here, even in the DevOps or in the cloud platform or anywhere. What is the difference between the record set A and 4 years in the Route 53 or DNS or anything? So the A record set mapping name to address. But when the address is IPv4 only. But when the address is IPv6, 4 years. And you want to set any alias name for the domain, then we will use CNAME. CNAME means canonical name. I mean to set alias names for the domain. And MX means mail exchange. This is responsible for email services. I mean the backend multiple email services are running. So at the time, people to use MS record set, not here. And NS, I told you, DNS, another name is name server. So nodes that hold information about a given name. I mean your domain name, complete information holds the NS record set. And what is meant by PTR? It is a pointer. Pointer meaning is the opposite of address record A. So meaning is the A record set mapping name to IP address. But PTR maintain IP address to name. That's why it is a opposite of a record. It is a reverse DNS record. And SYM is start of authority, and every domain name maintain SYA, that is called overall information about your domain. So these are the word popular record sets under the word DNS. So remember, we have multiple DNS record sets and also records, but I have specified the word important record sets. I mean frequent use record sets here, but mainly A, PTR, CNAME and SYA. These four are the what main record sets. But the repeated question is difference between A and 4As. Okay, it's fine. And the next one is, what are the prerequisites to installing and configuring our DNS server? But do you know anyone? I think AWS people, Route 53 is the concept. What is meant by 53? Anyone?
Route 53 is the domain name server.
I'm asking, what is meant by 53? The concept is Route 53. What is meant by 53?
Is a port.
Right. So it is a port number of DNS. That's why AWS people are calling Route 53. The concept is 53 is a what routing of DNS. So Route 53 means it is a DNS concept. So here, see, you want to install and configure DNS server. The package name is binder. And you want to change the configuration of the DNS /etc/name.conf. But sometimes in the DNS zones level configurations are required. So the zone configuration files are name.rfs, not RFS, RFC 1912.zones. But actually this file is no need. And what is the address file of the DNS server? Remember, /etc/resolve.conf. So this is the main file for the DNS server. And zone file locations /var/net. And what is the port number of the DNS? It is called what? 53. 53 is a DNS port number. And finally, you want to start the service or daemon name. Named is the service. See this? The concept name is DNS, but DNS package name is bind and the service name is named. So all are completely different. Okay. So now let me show you how to installing and configuring DNS server. But just idea about files only, but don't go for the what installations of the DNS. So because in the real time, everyone will purchase in the what domains directly. No need to create the what domain names. Just idea about files in case you want to troubleshoot the what things already in existing DNS server. Then what are the each file and where to troubleshoot it. And that purpose I have explained here. It is called what DNS server. Fine. So now how to installing DNS server. First, let me test my bind package is installed or not. So already installed. So then what can I do? Yum remove. It is called what? Bind and bind utils also is the existing package, and install these two packages first. I mean remove the what existing packages. So now there is no bind package right now. So let me test. I mean again there is no bind package. Then how to install the bind package? So the new configuration m install, please do bind package, and bind utils is the client package, and install the what bind utils package. But server package name is bind, client package name is bind-utils. Install the package first. Okay, now the packages are successfully installed. So how do you know that? RPM-Q, it is a bind and bind utils is the package. Perfect. Then the second important thing, let me test what about the port number of it is a named package. So is there any running port of 53? So there is no port number of 53 right now. So now let me start systemctl start. The package name of the DNS is named. Named is a service, and you will make it enable of the named service. Then finally verify the status of the named. Okay, now it's perfectly running. Then the server of DNS is server.example.com. So it's listening the port number 53. So how do you know that? Even you will confirm with netstat command. So now I think 53 is running, which is called what? Named listening 53 here. Okay, now 53 has been opened. Next, what is the main configuration file for the DNS server? So you want to add /etc/named.conf. So the direct configuration file of the DNS /etc name.conf. Okay, just open the file. And now in the beginning line of the named service, observe here, all are commented lines, but in the options, listen on port number 53. I mean, you want to change DNS port number. Here we can change the port number of 53. And then what is your DNS server address? So please be add your DNS address is here. I mean, by default, the DNS server is running in this system. Let me test. I mean, internet is working or not in the google.com. So now internet is perfectly running. So now I think this DNS server address is 192.168.10.2 is my DNS server address. And sometimes people to use in the real time 8.8.8 is the DNS server address. Okay, so based on your network engineer provided address, and please be add what your DNS addresses are here. Okay, for example, my DNS address is 192.168.10.2 is my DNS server address. Then keep the semicolon, guys. Why need to semicolon? Every address closed with semicolon, but you must maintain between address and the curly braces. See, here is the space is required. Otherwise, you will get an error. So space is required. This is the first requirement.
So where did we get that IP address 192.168?
People will provide the DNS address. I mean, the network engineers will provide the DNS address.
In the
Otherwise,
current machine, sir?
The current machine act as a DNS server. Then you will keep the DNS server address is 11 line. I mean, you want to keep it as this server as a DNS, then you will add the current machine server IP address here. Okay, is it clear?
Okay, sir. So current machine IP address is 10.11.
11. See here 10.11. Okay,
Yes.
then you will keep it. This current system DNS address is 10.11. Okay, and then here, and the next important thing, allow query address. Allow query meaning is who are querying. I mean, which clients are querying with DNS, which client machines communicate with the DNS server. So if I keep any is the address, if I keep the keyword name is any, then every system will communicate this DNS server. So not only 10.0, not only 0.0.0, any network people will communicate this name DNS server. In case If you write 192.168.0.0 by 16, then what is the meaning? Only 192.168 series client systems only to communicate this DNS server. I mean, this DNS server allows 192.168.0.0 series. Or you want to add another address, okay, 192. Or for example, I want to allow 10.10.0.0 by 16. Only again, 10.10 series people also will communicate this DNS server. So like you will maintain the what? The client system network IDs here who are allowing this DNS. Okay, if I keep any address, then everyone can allow this DNS server. Okay, right. So then I will go for here recursion is the option. I mean, if you want to allow any other network, you must keep the what? Recursion option is yes. Okay, so it is called what? The recursion DNS has a what? Public IP address like that. Then finally, to save the configuration. So no need any other changes. So here we can add the what? Your DNS server address. But already this VMware running with 192.168.10.2 is my DNS address. That's why I want to keep my DNS address is 192.168.10.2. Or you want to act as, I mean, this mission act as a DNS server, then we will provide the what? This DNS server address here. Okay. Now let me save. Then verify the configuration. I mean, the name.conf file is correct or not. How do you know that? So here, I think named hyphen check conf is the keyword to verify the what? Your syntax errors of your name.configuration file. So if I enter, so no mistakes. I mean, there is no output. So the configuration has perfect. So now this is called what? To verifying the what? Syntax errors in the configuration file. And the next important thing, where to keep your DNS server address. If you run, the DNS server address is in the resolve.conf file. So the DNS server addresses must be in the etc resolve.conf file. So this is the main file for the DNS server. So for example, you have a Linux server. Already in the company, DNS server is running. But your computer communicates to DNS server, then the DNS server address you will add directly in the etc resolve.conf file with keyword name is name server. With keyword name is name server. So my DNS server is already 192.168.10.2. So how to call the DNS server address? With keyword name name server. With keyword name server. Okay. In case your DNS server address is not 2, it is 11. It is a DNS server address is 11. So then here the 11 is not public IP address, and even after restart systemctl, my restart the named service. So if I ping google.com, so internet is not communicated because 192.168.10.11 is my local system. It is not my DNS server. I mean, this is not running with public IP address. But already this network running with one DNS server. That's why I want internet connection. So 192.168.10.2 is my IP address, DNS server address. So if I start my DNS server address, I mean restart it. If I run ping google.com, now it's running perfect. So that's why I added what 192.168.10.2. already existing DNS server address. Okay, so now it's running. So overall, this is the configuration of your DNS system. But the files, configuration files, and everything is perfect. But in the environment, even engineers or DevOps engineers or everyone, how to find, how to digging or how to troubleshooting IP address to names and names to IP address. Because in your environment, thousands or lakhs of servers are running. But how do you know that? The system IP address mapping with which host names, or the host name mapping with what IP address? How to find out? How to find out your names with mapping IP address with names and names to mapping IP addresses? So that's why in the environment, mostly people will use dig command or ns lookup command or host command or ping command. Generally, for troubleshooting DNS servers, these 4 commands are important: dig, ns lookup, host, ping. So now here, what are the 4 commands for the DNS utilities? The first one is dig. It is used to perform DNS lookups and debug a name server configuration. If you dig, like if I use dig my server, server running with what IP address. So now you will get the information about, if you write the word your host name, then it will give the word your IP address. It will give the word your IP address. But remember, this information provided by 192.168.10.2 53 port number of DNS server. So same way you want to use ns lookup. Ns lookup also is the good command, but remember, dig command only working in Linux or Unix platforms, but ns lookup command working in any platform of Windows, Linux, and everything. So that's why everyone knows ns lookup only is the command for mapping hostname of a or IP to hostname information. For example, ns lookup. I want to get www.facebook.com. This facebook.com running with what IP address? I want to know that. So if I enter, see this, the facebook.com running with 163.70.140.35. So now ns lookup responsibility is the what? If you give domain names, if you give input name is domain name, it will provide the what? IP address of the domain. This domain mapping with this IP. But who provides this information? Our DNS server 192.168.10.2. And remember why I have provided 10.2? Actually 10.2 already my existing DNS server. Okay, right. So same way, you want to get any other domain names, then ns lookup is the good idea. And even the same command is working in the platform of Windows also. If you go for Windows PowerShell, so Windows also ns lookup www. I want to verify facebook.com. See that? ns lookup. ns lookup. The information is 57.144.122.1. So alias name is www.facebook.com. So everything is very clear. You want to find the word name to IP or IP to name. The commands are very well ns lookup command. But you want to get, if you give the word IP address, then it will display the word domain names. But most of the people will give the word names only, people to find the word IPs. and host also is the command. But remaining all commands running only in the Linux platform. Host space, for example, server. So now the server details are running with here 190C. The server name mapping with 192.168.10.11. Correct. This system 11 is mapping with what IP address? What domain name? I mean, what computer name? Server is the computer name. Perfect. Right? Host also is the command. Or even if you run ping server only. See this, the ping server running with 192.168.10.11. It's mapping the server name with 192.168.10.11. So this is also another way to find the what? Your domain mapping IP addresses. Okay. So we have multiple ways. So the beautiful commands are here. dig command, nslookup command, host command, and ping command. Host command and ping command. So ping also good command, host also good command, dig also the command, nslookup also is the command. But nslookup is the frequent used command. Everyone will use nslookup or ping commands because these two are the what universal tools. So not only in the Unix or not only in the Linux, even Mac OS, Windows, everywhere these two tools are working. Okay, these are the what DNS utilities and troubleshooting. So for example, say, sir, my internet provider maybe Jio or Airtel or service provider DNS. You want to get internet connection, then where to keep your DNS address? Just directly open etc resolve.configuration file. Then if I write name server 8.8.8.8, then what is the meaning? The system first priority goes to 10.2. In case 10.2 is not working, system will consider the what? The second DNS name server is 8.8.8.8. So in case if the first one is not working, keep the word commented. Now what is your DNS server? 8.8.8.8. So now the system immediately fetching DNS server as 8.8.8. I think this 8.8.8 is not working. Just example only I have given here. Restart named. See that if I run ping google.com, so it's not working 8.8.8 because now the system, oh, it's great. 8.8 also it's working. See this 192.168 8.8 is there. Because my service provider DNS address is 8.8.8.8. Now the system is running with DNS address of 8.8.8. Even in the 8.8.8 not working. Okay, just as it. So actually my DNS server address is not to my address is the current system may be 11 as a DNS server. Then if I restart my named service, if I run again ping google.com, see this 11 is not a DNS server address actually because the current server is not act as like a DNS. Okay, so what I'm saying here, you want to interact with the DNS servers, so please be provide the valid DNS servers in the file of etc resolve.com. The keyword name is name server space DNS server address. So only one step. I mean, the people are saying your system is not resolving with the DNS server. So please be resolve the issue. Then how to keep the what issues? First, you will find directly, oh, in the etc resolve.configuration file, what address is already running. So the correct DNS address is there. It's perfect. And in case there is no IP address of the DNS server, and please be add the word DNS server address here. Once you added the word DNS server address with keyword name server, everything seems fine. Okay, so now the new servers, new installation servers must be add your company DNS server address. Even you want to get any internet connection, the DNS service provider address here only. See that my service provider address DNS 8.8.8. That's why even 8.88 also it's working, because my service provider DNS address is better. Same way you want to create one DNS server, definitely public IP address is required and public domain name also required. That's why with local IP address it is not working. Maybe this IP address is public or with public domain name of example.com, then it's working fine. But I have given some example about the domain name is example.com and the IP address of the server 10.11. So this is called the DNS server address. So from this, you will get repeated questions. The repeated question, first one is, what is the DNS address file? The DNS address file is /etc resolve.conf. May I know what is the keyword to setting DNS address? Name server space DNS server address. This is the first repeated question. And the second question is, what is the port number of the DNS? 53. The next question is, what is the difference between A and 4A's record sets? And then what is the main configuration file of DNS? Or sometimes you will get direct question, what is the main role of the DNS server? And even some people will ask you, what exactly description of the NS lookup command? Or they will ask the what indirectly, I want to get the what host system IP address, what command you will use it? And don't say host name command, IP ifconfig command. They are not asking about how to find the IP address. They're asking already system running with one domain name. So based on the domain name, how to find the IP address? How do you know that the mapped IP address of the domain? NS lookup is the command. Or they will ask you, what is NS lookup command? So these are the frequent asked questions in DNS server, mostly. Okay. So in the tomorrow class, I will tell you the another very important class, web servers. Web servers is one beautiful concept in the Linux admin level. Even web servers concept not only for Linux engineers, even in everywhere, in AWS environment or DevOps environment, web servers role are very important. Even DevOps engineers also to install and configure web servers, application servers, and everything. But you know that already what are the application servers like Tomcat, Microsoft IaaS. So like we have different web servers and application servers. But this is not DevOps lectures. But as per my syllabus, I will explain what is meant by web servers on the tomorrow class. Especially Red Hat provides Apache HTTPD web server. I think if you know the web server, but no worries, you will get more knowledge about your web servers in tomorrow class. Because web server means not only installing HTTPD and load the one web page. You will get virtual hosting, port based, IP based. We have different information in the web servers. So tomorrow class is little bit big. More than 40 or 50 minutes class. So approximately 1 hour class or more than 1 hour. We don't know exactly, but I will give you the complete knowledge about web server. But web servers are very important and don't miss the lecture. But today concept just DNS, just idea about DNS server, what DNS playing exactly in the networking environment. Even if you don't keep your DNS servers manually, remember already you know that DHCP server. The DHCP servers will throw the what IP address, host names, and everything automatically. So that's why even without configuration of DNS and everything, systems are running with default domain names, default IP addresses, default host names, and everything. How it is possible means internally the DHCP server sending the what all information to systems. Even everything is running perfect, but systems are not communicated, then how to troubleshoot it? Then you will verify the what configuration files and everything manually with help of this concept. That is the advantage of DNS. But mostly DHCP servers gives the what information to systems. In case there is no DHCP server or there is no even everything is seems fine, but still systems are not running with internet or some other details, then where to troubleshoot? Just verify the what these all configuration files. That's it. Please ask me if you have any queries.
Sir, hello, am I audible?
Hmm.
Sir, actually, I could not picturize this like the flow actually. So, can you please explain that like how like from the request if we give the DNS domain name and it will resolve how it goes like to the config.
Your voice is not clear.
Yeah, I am saying that I could not get the flow actually like from the
What
internet.
happened? What happened?
Yeah, like from the internet, if someone puts this DNS domain name, so how it resolves to this system, particularly which you are showing
That
the
is for what
page.
NS lookup is the simple command. So what systems are mapping with IP address or what IP address mapping with the domain names? Simple in the client side or anybody asking NS lookup is the direct command. So no need even DNS configurations and everything. But theoretically, just idea about DNS. So nowadays people are not configured DNS servers in the environment. Okay. So even you are the DevOps engineer or anyone, so directly we will apply the word commands, ns lookup or ping command or host command or dig command. Okay, maybe the server is not running with the DNS or the server is not communicating with the DNS. Then where to verify the DNS server address in the etc resolve.conf file. Okay, this kind of knowledge is enough. But nowadays configurations, installations of DNS, no need.
Okay.
Just idea about configuration files only.
Okay, sir. And that the DNS address .2 is by default or
No. Actually, my DNS address provided by VMware Workstation.
Okay.
Okay, so because the VM is running where in VMware Workstation, right? So that VMware Workstation provides 192.168.10.2 is a DNS server. That's why I have specified 10.2 in the name server details. If I keep the word 10.11 or any other address, it's not working. Internet is that's why it's not coming because the already DNS existing server is 10.2. Same way, you will find what your DNS address in your network and add it. Definitely, the system will run the what internet connection. If you keep any another address, then maybe it is not a DNS server. You won't communicate it.
So it is like creating a gateway for the internet, like the
No, everything is provided by VMware. See, it is not a physical system, right? Physical system means you will provide the what everything manually. But here VMware provides DHCP server. So that DHCP throws the what your address, host names, and everything. But how to check it means what you will use the what commands.
Okay. Like you changed from .2 to 11, it didn't work like that.
Yeah, because the 10.11 is what a regular system address. It is not a DNS server address.
So we can say, right, the DNS, it's like connecting the system to the internet.
10.11 is not connected. Correct or not? Even I have specified 10.11. After setting the word 10.11, my system is not communicating with google.com, right? Means, okay, this system is this IP is not DNS address.
Okay.
Okay, guys. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you.
Sir, I had a few questions.
Yeah.
Sir, suppose I purchased a domain name from internet and I want to set up on my own server.
Okay, you want to?
I want to set up my own domain at my office. So how can I do that using
DNS server, right?
Yes, sir.
So now first you will set up the what? Your computer host name as your domain name. So here I specified the what? Just example.com is my domain. Then you will keep it the what? Your domain name is, for example, abc.com. Then you will set up the what? abc.com.
So first of all, server
that's the system must be running with your domain name. Okay. Then what to do? After that, in the /etc under the what? name.conf file, you will keep the what? Instead of your example.com, then everything you will keep the what? Your public domain name, and not only domain name, your domain running with one IP address, you must keep the what? Your public IP address is here. Okay. So after that, you will provide the what? The domain name address details in the name.conf. I mean, it is called what? resolve.conf file. So name server space, your public IP address, because your address working with what? Your domain name, right?
Yes.
Okay. Then this is the way. But here the system is running with all our private and it is not registered domain name. That's why it's not working perfectly. It is the example only.
I asked sir this one because I had a few scenarios. I had a few clients to whom I developed a few projects in PHP. And I'm currently running all those applications using XAMPP on Windows machine.
Windows means I don't know exactly because we are not working on Windows systems. Really, I don't know.
Actually, no, I'm not asking about Windows. Just I'm setting the example that currently I am running all those applications using XAMPP server on Windows machines. And further, they all are testing. Sometimes, no, we want to migrate to server, some calling HP server or something IBM server. So on installing the Linux OS, maybe it may be Ubuntu or Red Hat or something else. CentOS, it may be CentOS also.
Okay.
So on that, after configuring the web server on these servers, I have to configure this one. Do I have to configure this?
See, you are asking about deploying applications. I mean, that is called what? Website, right?
Yes, sir. Deploying applications with their
like it is a website hosting. Okay, so it is not related to it is not related to DNS.
So I think he's talking about migrating
application from Windows to Linux.
Yes, sir.
On-prem to cloud DNS, something like that.
That is not a concept related to DNS. Maybe after tomorrow concept, you will get your knowledge and how to use, how to deploy it. I mean, how to host it. Maybe you will get it. Tomorrow, wait for the what tomorrow session. Maybe you will get the what different knowledge. Then maybe after that your query will be resolved.
Okay. So are we going to install different servers, sir?
Different server means?
Are we going? Which means I want to say, sir, Apache that.
That's Apache what I'm saying. Tomorrow is the what? Apache HTTPD. That is the web server concept. Your query is not DNS related. Your query is web server related. Apache, Nginx web server, Microsoft IIS server. Those are all the what? Web servers.
Sir, currently my client, they are using their softwares using a domain name. They had their company's domain name, and currently that is looked up by the.
For example, the application is already running. So the deployment also is running,
Yes.
but everything by default running
Yes,
with
sir.
local host. But you want to expose the
Yes, sir.
application with public IP address outside, then web servers are required.
Currently public, both, sir. In premise, the applications is working inside the office also and on the internet also.
Then that's what I'm saying. Currently it's working, right? Domain
So
registration is required. That domain already registered with what third-party websites.
Yes, sir.
And already public IP is there.
Yes, sir.
But
Yes,
you
sir.
don't know how to deploy. That
On
is the
Linux
tomorrow
server.
concept. On Linux server, how to deploy and how to host tomorrow session, you will get it.
Okay. Okay, sir.
Sir, one question. Sir, when you ping that www.facebook.com, that IP address which we got, is it the the real IP address of the?
Sahu, your voice is not clear. Seriously.
Am I audible now?
You are audible, but voice is not clear.
Okay. So when you ping www.facebook.com, the IP address which you got, so is that the real IP address of the machine on which it is hosted?
See, it is a real IP address only, but security reason, maybe they are registered with what different IP addresses.
Okay.
So Facebook running within the region one IP address, in another region another IP address. They are balanced, that can balance into what multiple load balancers. Just I have given one example only. But in the real environment, your servers are running with what fixed IP address only. But in your environment, how to find it means that is the way. That is my example only.
So are you going to teach proxy servers?
Yeah. That is the last concept Thursday.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.